Live from JMT Studios, Gary Seisel and Adam Buckingham are the Two Jersey Kids.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is episode 5, sort of Two Jersey Kids. Unfortunately, I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter. Remember, follow us at Two Jersey Kids. Unfortunately, we had technical issues while recording episode 5, which is unfortunate because we had some good discussions about esports and their relativity in the college campus and getting paid. We'll probably continue that talk for next week when, as you can tell, this is just me this time, so I'm a little scared because I'm just talking to all of you out there, even though I'm just sitting here talking on a mic. I don't know. I can't play off to Gary to help me when I lose track of thoughts, so this should be rather fun. I'm going to go through some few topics. It may be a shorter episode just because you have my thoughts, and my thoughts are very mediocre at best. So, let's get into it. This week, I've been playing, essentially, Slain Back from Hell. I mentioned that in the episode released earlier this week. It came out on Tuesday, I believe. It's got a Castlevania vibe, for sure. It's got a gothic, metal-y feel, hellish, a lot of gore involved. So far, I like the look of it. It's a great-looking game. It doesn't feel quite there. Doesn't feel quite what I want out of it. It doesn't feel super fluid, but maybe that's what they're going for. The hit detection's a little off, from my opinion. It seems like like I was saying, it's not as responsive as I would like from a 2D platform where there's a lot of platforms and a lot of things coming at you. And when you're swinging your sword or whatever weapons you have, you want it proper timing, because I feel like I get the timing down right, but I end up somehow not hitting anything and I get hit in the process, because you can die pretty easily in that game when you're going up against harder enemies or jumping from platform to platform when there's nothing under you and you'll die. I guess that's their referencing to Castlevania, the first one, because I feel like that when you essentially are deciding to swing, you swing, but it hits later than what you expect. So it's different for me coming from Hyper Light Drifter, where the combat was so fluid and the gameplay felt so good, and that's why I love it. And also I've been playing Hotline Miami 2, which gameplay, again, it feels solid. It feels like you're doing what you want to do, whereas Slain Back from Hell doesn't quite feel that way. It's alright. I don't know if I'm going to do a review of it. I'll still need to get through it. Right now, I would suggest, first opinions, I've been like 2 hours-ish into it, I think. I would suggest wait on it, maybe wait until there's a sale going on for it. But it's still it's a solid game for the price that you get it at. I think it's $13 if you have PS Plus, or $13.50, which is pretty decent if you're looking for a good, I don't know, it doesn't take, from what I see, I think it only takes 6 hours to beat, but I could be wrong. But that's a pretty nice deal for that amount of time. I think it's not awful. It's not. You can still play it, but I digress. The other games I've been playing, like I said, Hotline Miami 2. I finally getting around to play that. I enjoyed the first one, Hotline Miami 1. I'm now playing Hotline Miami 2 on the PS4 and the Vita. I keep flip-flopping back and forth, but it just feels so good. I don't know what it is about that game, but it just feels awesome. Just more of Hotline Miami, which is always great. And shockingly, because the DLC was free this week, I've been playing Battlefield 4. For those people that are interested, I'm sure. Here, let me check right now. Let me check what Battlefield 4 is on the PlayStation Store. Because if it's not that much, I would suggest going out and get it. Because now with everything that's been added on it, it's a pretty solid. I mean, it was already solid to begin with, but it's a great first-person shooter. It feels like a lot of action's taking place. Yeah, it's only $20 on the PS Store. I would suggest, if you're interested and there's a drought before the first-person shooter's coming out, like in mid-October, I would suggest going and picking it up. It's a solid game. It's really good. I love it. I remember playing it earlier on when it first came out. playing it with some of my friends, Gary sometimes too. It's with all additional updates and adds to it. Now it feels solid compared to originally. I can't remember what the original complaints were with it. It just didn't feel all quite there. But now, since there's the free DLC we're able to get, now we have more maps that we can play. It feels a lot, I don't know, but it's more vast per se, I guess, online. And I actually still need to get around to the story mode. I haven't gotten into it. But that's what I've been playing. Tweet at 2JerseyKids and let me know what you've been playing. I would really enjoy that. So let's move into the topics, shall we? So the first topic comes from Engadgetgames.com, or Gadget.com. I don't know why I said games. Written by John Fingas. It's no great shock to see citizen scientists make discoveries that professionals miss. But making it through a video game, ? That's different. I don't know why I said ? That's weird. Why would I point out? It should be obvious by the tone that I'm asking a question. But I continue. Gamers playing Foldit, a puzzle title that has teams trying to fold the best protein, have identified the shape of a protein before scientists, parentheses, including 2 trained experts and 61 University of Michigan undergrads, could manage the feat. And it's not as if there were legions of contributors. Either. This article is throwing me off with the reading, as it took a relatively modest 469 players to help out. The protein in question may be particularly significant. It prevents plaque formation, hinting that it might help fight Alzheimer's, if and when the medical community develops a practical use for it. The achievement underscores the primary advantage of crowdsourced research. You can foster the kind of large-scale collaboration that would be utterly impractical for academics. At the same time, though, it may also demonstrate the value of adding a game element to scientific education. So, it showed the promise of, crowdsourcing to multiple people. If you guys are interested, Foldit actually is, on Wikipedia, states Foldit is an online puzzle video game about protein folding. It is part of an experimental research project developed by the University of Washington Center for Game Science in collaboration with UW Department of Biochemistry. The objective of Foldit is to try to fold the structures of selected proteins as well as possible, using tools provided by the game. The highest scoring solutions are analyzed by researchers who determine whether or not there is a native structural configuration, native state, that can be applied to relevant proteins in the real world. Scientists can then use these solutions to target and eradicate diseases and create biological innovations. And this just goes to show how important using things that people can relate to and people can have fun with doing, like, say, games and learning, where they can, they're having fun doing it, and they're also discovering things at the same time, but they don't know. That's what me and Gary went into the topic, or the stating that you're not going to, if you don't relate to something, or you're not invested in something, you're not going to continue wanting to learn. That's why I feel like, figuring out video games in the learning space could be beneficial. But that's just me. Let's move on over at IGN. Let me load it up. Michael Pasaloquia writes, Battlefield 1 beta had 13.2. I had trouble last when I originally recorded, and for some reason 13 is not rolling off the tongue really well. The Battlefield 1 beta had 13.2 million players, making it the biggest beta in EA history. Me and Gary played that beta. It was very good. We enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I don't have Gary to get his opinions on it, because I'm trying to read the article and then also think at the same time of what to say, which right now it's not very good. I'm pretty good at rambling, though. As you can see right now, I'm just talking about literally nothing, and it's going. I've made it up to 10 seconds now. I'm trying to fill. Okay, keep going. According to an infographic for beta, the 13.2 million figures more than doubled the strength of the British and Ottoman empires deployed in the Middle East during World War I. Just shows you how psyched people are. They want to play Battlefield 1. It feels different, which is shocking that going back now, people want to play a different type of game instead of now the modern shooters or the futuristic shooters, which Call of Duty is going one direction, Battlefield's going the other. We'll see how it goes. Because back in the day, you couldn't get past World War... I know it's World War II, but you couldn't get... That's all the games that were coming out were older shooters. But now the modern space, it's getting a little repetitive. So they're going back, and people are excited. Oh, I actually opened up the infograph. But to continue, if you want to go, it's on IGN, but it states that 30% of people played Assault, 28% played Scout, 21% played Support, and 10% played the Medic. My man, all 10% of you are rolling with me, because medics are awesome. That's what I did. Big thing, though, is that 62.2 million kills were on the horse. And I'm pretty certain I saw that they were looking at ways to nerf the horse, because they were ridiculously overpowered. It just seemed like I would kept dying from people riding the horse and shooting with the pistol or rifle, whatever they had. Along with the infographic, though, they continue to write in this article, EA thanks fans for their feedback on the beta and said the company is, quote, identifying what worked well and what didn't work as well, end quote, specifically mentioning that, quote, the light tank performed a little too well, end quote, and will be balanced for the game's full release. Sorry. Actually, Gary, I keep mentioning back when we originally recorded this one, is something freaking happened and we lost all the audio of him for some reason. I was thinking of putting it where you can sort of hear him in the background of my audio, but it just felt weird because you could hear me doing the breathing and while I was listening to what he's talking, because you don't pick it up when he's talking because he's louder than me breathing. But he mentioned that it was a little difficult to try to get rid of the tanks. It just felt like they were a little invincible. So I guess EA is catching on to that. They're seeing that it performed a little too well, so they're going to try to nerf it some way that they can, which is interesting that they're listening. They're getting feedback and they're listening and they're making changes, which is what you want out of a company that puts out a beta, because if they're not making changes, what's the frickin' point of the beta? Am I right? All you tweet at 2JerseyKids and let me know how right I am. On a scale of 81 to 92, let me know how well this podcast is going. Am I crashing and burning? Who freaking knows? Who knows? Oh, we're rolling on. Again, an IGN article written by Alex Osborne. The Pokemon Company boss, Sukazi Izuhara, has confirmed the company will develop games for Nintendo's next console, codenamed NX. Now, right there, that seems like an obvious statement. I would hope that they decided to let's put games out here instead of doing like the Wii U method where they just didn't put out that many games over time, and it just felt like it was just dying. Because, I don't know, it just kept putting out, slowly trickled out Nintendo games, but there wasn't that many third-party supports, which I feel like they sort of need third-party support. It feels like they burned some bridges because you don't see that many coming, and then coming to Wii U, and when they did, it was later on. So, like the Batman Arkham Knight. I think Batman Arkham Knight, or was it one of the Batman games finally came to it. But the article continues. In an interview with the Wall Street Journal, Izuhara added weight to the rumors that the Nintendo NX is a portable/console hybrid device, saying, quote, the NX is trying to change the concept of what it means to be a home console device or a handheld device, end quote, before adding, quote, we will make games for the NX again, which I hope they would, end quote. Sorry, the "and I hope that they would" is not in the quote. Obviously, that was me adding, I should have said end quote and then added that. I'm sorry, all of you out there. I really am. But I am excited for the NX. The portable console hybrid is something that I've always wanted. It feels like that's a space they thrive in, Nintendo. Their DS console or handhelds have been doing really well. So I'm excited to see what this console looks like. We still haven't heard anything yet. I don't know when it's supposed to release in March 2017, which is coming up, and there has been no information regarding it. Nothing besides the detachable controllers. There's been no press conference. But actually, an article came out today, which is interesting, mentioning when I talked about building third-party support over at IGN. But I'm trying to figure out who wrote it. Joe Screbbles. Sure. Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot has furthered claims that Nintendo's next console, codenamed NX, will stand apart from Microsoft and Sony's home console, which seems like an obvious statement since they're not doing the whole just staying at home on the big screen TV and playing it. Speaking to IGN at Ubisoft event, Guillemot, who has previously expressed his admiration for the upcoming console, explained specifically why he was excited for the NX. Quote, "I think once again the interface is very attractive," he said. "It's a machine that will be easy to use for all gamers. They have built in something that will give us a chance to really have a different experience from what exists today. That's what I like, that they come with something new that is adapted to what we actually want now." End quote. During a separate presentation, he called it a, quote, "a fantastic machine," end quote, going on to explain that, quote, "I think it's a really new approach. It's really Nintendo coming with something new again. We love it," end quote. Which is what Nintendo always tries to do. They always try to innovate. They try to do that with the Wii and it had a huge success. But I think they tried to mimic that by figuring out the next greatest gimmick. Maybe they saw the tablet space and like, oh, maybe we should make a tablet for our gamepad, even though it's basically just like a toy kind of. It's not the best, doesn't feel that great. I just hope they're not trying to innovate too much, and they're trying to, because this is an innovation in itself, being a console and handheld hybrid, and that's all you really need. I don't need any extra features. I don't need motion control. I don't need 3D, because the 3D on the 3DS gives me a headache when I look at it too long, so what's the point? Just use it in 2D, is my opinion. Man, I noticed as I record, since I'm talking so much, my voice levels have been going down, down, and down, and down. My voice is probably going to suck by tomorrow. So, but it's all for you out there, because I love you all. What was I mentioning again? The NX console, I feel like this is just an innovation in itself. They don't need to add the additional stuff to try to make it new. I don't know if they're going to ever catch what they had with the Wii U or the Wii, where different, like, older family members would see you play Wii Sports and like, oh, that's interesting. I want to play that. It was more of the modern or casual gamer that they marketed to, and it like blew up because you couldn't find Wiis anywhere. But slowly it's been trickling. Well, the Wii U sort of depicts how poorly they marketed that, and I think they went the wrong direction. But what do I know besides statistics on how well the Wii U did? That was just weird marketing. Why would you call it the Wii U? Because that makes you think, oh, it's the tablet. So it's a detachable thing to the Wii, so we don't need to buy anything that's going to be cheaper, so it's just that tablet. But that's not what happened, unfortunately. It's a whole different console. It was a whole hubbub explaining it. It was just, why I call it the Wii U? I guess trying to build off the success of Wii, where you see the people going into the stores like, oh, Wii U. It must be a thing just like the Wii, just has something else, I guess, like the gamepad. But it wasn't at all. It wasn't at all. Now I'm going to try to pull up the next article before you all get mad at me. I'm sorry, Gary's not here to say more eloquent things. He's more the eloquent talker. I'm more of the just here to host and go move us in the right direction. I'm sorry. Oh, don't. Okay. At Eurogamer, Dan Silver writes, Shuei Yoshida, the popular president of Sony's worldwide studios, has said he understands why some fans were critical of the controversial space survival sim No Man's Sky. More No Man's Sky news. And blamed Hello Games' pre-release PR strategy for building up unrealistic expectations. Disgruntled gamers complained about the absence of features and functionalities in the final release that development chief Sean Murray had previously referred to in interviews and previews, ranging from multiplayer mechanics to the complexity of its combat and trading systems. Speaking to Eurogamer at Tokyo Game Show, Shuhei Yoshida said, quote, I had the opportunity to play the game right before launch, and I restarted playing the game on launch day with day one patch, so I could see the struggle for the developers to get the game out in the state that they wanted, end quote. Yoshida said that personally he, quote, really enjoyed it. quote, playing No Man's Sky, but could appreciate why others might not feel the same way. Quote, I understand some of the criticism, especially Sean Murray is getting, because he sounded like he was promising more features in the game from day one. It wasn't a great PR strategy because he didn't have a PR person helping him. And in the end, he's an indie developer. But he says their plan is to continue to develop No Man's Sky's features and such, and I'm looking forward to continuing to play the game. As Sony... End quote. Sorry. I started zoning out for a second, even though I'm on a podcast talking to y'all. I'm really sorry. As Sony told Eurogamer when we reported on the concern about No Man's Sky, reported use of a patented super formula, Hello Games was the developer of the game and the publisher of the PlayStation 4 digital PC version, but Sony was the publisher and distributor of the Blu-ray disc version of the game, so perhaps it shares some responsibility. I think it does share some responsibility. I think there's a lot of blaming to go around here. They're obviously the developers. They promised way too much. They didn't fulfill what they promised. You just go back and listen to what Sean Murray says, and you kind of have to agree with some of the fans saying that he stated way too many things. Again, being an indie developer and not having that many people working in the studio and not being large enough to have a PR department, maybe that had something to do with it. It's a good thought, good statement by Shu. But again, Sony's also shares some of the blame, showing it so many times during conferences. Like, why not just, okay, you showed it once. This is not a game that's going to be easily explained in one conference and let everyone, because once you can't explain it completely, properly, people's minds are going to race. They're going to hype it up way too high, and that's what you saw what happened. They showed it a lot, unnecessarily, instead of just showing it once, letting them just work on it, and then maybe a few months beforehand, show like, oh, it's about to come out. So people are not too hyped about it. So it's not in their minds for like years, like multiple years. So they keep building on their hype and expectations. But again, that also blame goes to the media. Some of the media saying that, though, this game deserves Game of the Show. They're talking it up so much at these shows of how amazing it is and preview events. And then also, like I was stating, it's all of us out there who got too hyped with the game. I wasn't one of those people. I knew it wasn't going to be as crazy as they said. I really hoped that it was. Like, I hoped, but I didn't expect it. And that's the difference. Expecting it and hoping are different, as I just said. I'm sorry. Whew, doing this. Gary, come back, please. I need you. My brain doesn't work properly because I can't slow down. I just have to keep talking because I can't just do like a pregnant pause like this. Oh wait, I just did. But I just lost track. But yeah, fans in general, gamers, deserve some of the blame too for overhyping it, but that's been stated plenty of times before. So moving on, Kojima had some interesting things to say about Metal Gear Solid Survive. Daniel Robson and Jose Otero. I can't. Man, this is. During a staged presentation at Tokyo Game Show 2016 for Hideo Kojima's new game Death Stranding, the Metal Gear series creator made several comments regarding Metal Gear Survive, the zombie action game set in the Metal Gear universe made by Konami. Alright, I'm going to stop right there for a second. I remember reading this last time we recorded, so yesterday I had a lot of issues saying Metal Gear, so the fact that I got through that one paragraph without tripping up somewhat is impressive. They say Metal Gear a lot in this article, so let's see how many times I screw up, and if I don't, that is an amazing feat, and it's a miracle. Alright, we continue. Kojima took the opportunity to distance himself from Konami's forthcoming game, Metal Gear Survive, a spin-off from Kojima's acclaimed Metal Gear series. When asked whether the idea for Survive had come from Kojima himself, he replied, quote, "That's nothing to do with me. The Metal Gear games are about political fiction and espionage." He continued saying, Where do zombies fit in? And I kind of agree with him in this. I'm an outsider from Metal Gear Solid, but I can see looking in that zombies don't seem like they're they fit that well in this universe. Mind you, I've also seen that this universe is a little crazy because Kojima's games can be a little kooky at times. That's an understatement. But the zombie genre, again, is starting to play out a little bit. Like I was saying to Gary, bold prediction, what a good game would be. Combine the zombies with robots, get zombie mechs in there, or get zombie robots. Have some virus affecting the AI units, and they start, for some reason, actually, it would be even cooler if it was like 28 Days Later style, where since they're AI units, they're super fast and super strong, so you're trying to survive. It would be sick. Oh man, someone go make that game, please. Please. The article finishes up by saying, Kojima was joined on stage by Yoji Shinkawa, the former character and mechanical designer on the Metal Gear series, who is now working on Death Stranding at Kojima Productions. Shinkawa also denied any involvement in Konami's game, joking, quote, if I had worked on that game, it would have mechs in it, end quote. It's kind of funny that Kojima is now bashing Konami's I feel like it's kind of a money grab, but I feel like people are going to go out and buy it anyway because it's Metal Gear, and they're using the engine that made Metal Gear Solid 5, which I hear the game just plays so well. So I'm sure it'll feel great. Even though it doesn't fit, I'm sure some people will go out and buy it. All you Xbox One fans, here you go. You get the games with gold for October have been stated and released. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty impressed with Xbox announcing way ahead of time their games with gold. It feels like for PlayStation, it seems like, oh shit, that PS Plus thing is coming up. Let's figure something out, and it's like the week before. Obviously, I'm wrong. They think these things way in advance, but it just feels that way. Xbox puts these things out way ahead of time, it seems, and then PS Plus is maybe a week beforehand. So the games of note is Super Mega Baseball. Super Mega Baseball is the summary of it from Metacritic is Hammer Longballo and a friendly cast of semi-athletic baseball stars invite you to settle up on a couch with friends for some relaxed solo or co-op play or some fierce relationship testing competition. I've actually seen gameplay of this. Since it's free, I might as well get it. I love playing me some cartoon baseball games. I love Mario Baseball and Slugfest. I mean, I played baseball back in the day. I just love baseball. MLB The Show, love it. It's real time, but I also love me some arcadey, goofy baseball, so I should check it out. And I hear good things. Metacritic gave it, I believe, when I looked, it was like 85 from only 14 reviews, which is pretty solid. Or was it 84 from 15? I could be wrong. It's roughly around there, which is pretty solid. So I definitely should go check it out. At least download it because it's free. Why not? All you chumps out there that don't do that for PS Plus or Games with Gold, you're missing out. Why not just add it to your library so you can have it later on, when you don't have anything, when you have this dry spell, like right now. You could be playing some, good indie games. You could be playing Rocket League right now because that's free. But that would have been a good segue if I mentioned it later because Rocket League comes up next. But the other game that of note is The Escapist. The summary from Metacritic states The Escapist is an award-winning prison break simulation that provides players the opportunity of experiencing a lighthearted insight into everyday prison life. Whilst the aim of the game is simply to escape, the detail is in the execution. Parentheses, don't say the word execution too loud in the prison. That's a tip for all you. So don't ever say the word execution too loud in a prison. There you go. You may not be in an open prison, but you are in an open world where in between attending roll calls, meal times, and doing your chores, you should grab every chance to plan your escape. Do you do favors for other inmates, earning money and boosting their opinions of you along the way, or work out and become stronger? read to increase your skills, or spend your time crafting items into homemade weapons and tools? What about working diligently in your prison job to gain promotions to new jobs with better benefits? Keep a low profile or go all guns a-blazing? As long as you escape in the end, that's all that matters. This is another game that I've always wanted to check out. Now it's free. I might as well. It seems like a art style that I enjoy. I love pixel art. Indie game. It looks great going through the routines. You can decide what you want to do. Like they're saying, you can do favors for people, and then maybe along the way, you can ask them to do a favor for you. I don't know exactly how it works properly. Now, I've seen Let's Plays of it, so you can do a job where essentially you can be working the laundry, so you can sneakily snag a police uniform, so then you can use that later in the game, like a clean police uniform, and maybe walk out that way. So it's definitely something to check out if you have Xbox One, those two games. I think also I Am Alive is, but I didn't write it down what the summary was, I'm sorry. I just noticed that those were the two major ones that they were talking about in the article from Polygon. But yeah, check them out. They're free. Why not? Why not? What could it hurt? You're not paying anything. Back to what I was saying about Rocket League, there's an article written by Wesley Copeland. Rocket League's next update, Aquadome, is coming in October. Whoa. Oh. Man, I'm doing poorly right now reading. The underwater updates includes a free water-themed arena and will release alongside 2 premium DLC battle cars. In the meantime, September's Rocket League DLC takes the form of Rumble, a new mode that adds extravagant power-ups into the mix, such as being able to kick an opponent's car, forcing your opposition to lose control, a grappling hook, a ball puncher, and many more. So, this is, again, I remember playing Rocket League when it first came out, where it was just simple soccer with cars, and now they're adding more and more things, which is definitely for all you people that are fans of Rocket League, that's great for you. You have different ways to play it now. I remember there was like a hockey mode and basketball mode. Now there's this crazy Rumble mode. I saw the grappling hooks, and it just seems like they're making it a lot of fun for you guys out there to play the game. If you want to play a serious, just straight up match, old style, quote unquote old, because it's not really that old. But there you go. I loved Rocket League. Unfortunately, I fell out of it, and now I'm nervous to hop back into it because, I don't have the quote skills anymore for it, because it's probably going to take a while to get back to figuring out the proper way to play and the best way. And I don't know, doing those aerial attacks that you see all the time on YouTube videos that are pretty sick, that people are awesome with. It's crazy how good they are at that game. But yeah, if you play Rocket League on PS4, please hit me up. Please tweet at me what your PSN name is, and I'll friend request you. I don't want to say my name out loud because it's not the best name, so I'll wait until you, tweet at me, or tweet at the podcast at 2 Jersey Kids, and then I'll let you know, and then you can let everyone else know, and the secret will be blown of what my PSN name is. Not that it's a huge deal. It's not that it's... See, here's the thing with PSN names. I don't have a comically bad one. I'd rather have a comically bad one than the one I have. The one I have just seems very bad. It's just bad, but not in a good bad way, per se. It's just something you make back when you're younger because of some things you're interested in. And, there you have it. That's what you're ended up with. So, yeah. So if you're interested in playing with me, tweet at 2 Jersey Kids on Twitter, and I'll be sure to let you know my PSN name, or I'll just friend you, and then you'll know. I'll say, hey, it's Adam J. Buckingham from 2 Jersey Kids here to play Rocket League with you. Let's go kick some ass, motherfuckers! Actually, I realized, I think that was the first time I cursed. Damn it. Well, there's a second, but crap. I was doing so well. I'm sorry for all you young ears out there that you're hearing me curse. I actually said some the mysterious destroyed episode. I said some crazy things last episode because we started recording really late. So I was super loopy. I was insanely loopy towards the end because I was so tired from the day, and I just said some ridiculous things that you will never hear, thankfully, even though I'm going to say plenty of ridiculous things in the future. Like, bold prediction, No Man's Sky, Game of the Year. Nah, I'm just kidding. That's not a bold prediction. That's just insanity. That'll never happen. Even though I feel like, I don't know. I feel like some random gaming site or some smaller gaming site may give it to it if they all really love the game, or they may give it a nod for its technical feat, technical marvel that it is with all the random generator thing. But I digress. Hey, all you guys listening, why don't you tweet at me or email us? Email the show, twojerseykids@gmail.com. You can also contact us through our website. We have a website, twojerseykids.com. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, you can tweet at us. What is your game of the year so far? I'm sure we'll have a discussion towards December of what we think our game of the year is. But unfortunately, we are not in the game industry, and we don't have access to all the games to play and all the time to play it. But maybe one day, with us hopping on your back and you taking us there, all you lovely, lovely fans listening to this as I make sweet music to your ears, sweet love to your ears with my amazing voice. But it would be great one day. But right now we're just doing this podcast for fun. So just keep listening, sharing us, and getting people to subscribe. If you enjoy it, subscribe. If you're a new listener, thank you. If you're not a new listener and you're a frequent listener, I love you just as the same. Well, I didn't even say I love you to the new. If you're a new listener, thank you so much for listening. I love you too. So subscribe. Make sure to subscribe because it's very good. All right, Polygon. Philip Kohler writes over at Polygon, even though I just mentioned it, the article's titled Dark Souls 3 DLC will be the end of the franchise ... for now. What a title that is. Clickbait if I've ever seen one, but it's true. On October 25th, Bandai Namco and From Software will launch Ashes of Andariel, the first of the two planned downloadable content additions to Dark Souls 3. But since the game's initial announcement at EA 2015, where a press release referred to it as, quote, the final episode, quote, fans have wondered if this is really the end for Dark Souls. Polygon had the chance to speak with From Software president Hideki Miyazaki. Man, I suck with names in general, no matter where they come from. No matter what, I just suck with names. To continue, Miyazaki, who also directed both the original Dark Souls and Dark Souls 3 at the Tokyo Game Show. We asked him directly if the two DLC packs from the latest game will mark the conclusion of the series as a whole, and he responded with an immediate, no hesitation, quote, yes, before laughing. Quote, it's time to move away from the Dark Souls franchise, Miyazaki said. As president of From Software, I'm not completely denying the possibility of bringing back the franchise in the future. There could be someone else in my company who wants to work on new installments, but we believe that the series will end after the two DLC, end quote. While not shying away from the potential for inevitable resurrections of Dark Souls at some point in the distant future, Miyazaki went on to suggest that what we're most likely to see are, quote, HD remakes of older games in the series on newer consoles. More HD remakes, yay! Even though we'll spend our money. But I thought they already had Dark Souls 2 as an HD remake. What are they going to do? Dark Souls? And then Demon Souls, maybe? Question mark? I mean, I think Sony owns it. I think Sony owns that the IP for Demon Souls, not Dark Souls, obviously, because it comes to Xbox. So maybe they'll remaster Demon Souls for PS4. Who knows? It's unclear if From Software would envision these as simple ports of the existing games to new hardware, or more full-on remakes with new or revised content. So either way, for fans of Dark Souls-style gameplay, Miyazaki promised we have nothing to worry about. Quote, I am not saying I won't work on a Dark Souls-like game or dark fantasy game, end quote. He said, quote, we like to carry over some of the good things from the franchise to new products. As new technology is introduced, we would like to take what we learned from Dark Souls and use it in a future IP, end quote. Which, I mean, all you guys love the Dark Souls series because of the gameplay. So as long as they move it over to a new franchise, maybe add some new things or a new IP, what's to worry about? I mean, they moved it to a new IP in Bloodborne, where Bloodborne felt... I loved Bloodborne. That's what made me play Dark Souls 3. I played Dark Souls 2 a little bit before Bloodborne. Never quite my fancy for some reason. I don't know. I just never grabbed it. I I need to talk with you later at some other time with Gary when we played Demon Souls together back when we were younger. That was an experience. But I just love the fluidity of Bloodborne, and I just love the environment so much. I like fantasy. I love fantasy. I've mentioned it before, but for some reason, I really like Bloodborne's like setting a lot more. I like the old Victorian style to it, the very creepy vibe you get from it. It was awesome. It felt fluid. I liked the not using shields, and I didn't feel like I was lumbering like you do in Dark Souls 3, which I played Dark Souls 3. I really enjoyed it up to a point where then I lost track because something else came out. I want to say, it wasn't Uncharted, was it? I don't remember what came out right after Dark Souls 3, but something came out, or I was doing something, and I lost track of time. I didn't play it for a week, and then another week came around, and then something kind of released, and then I just put it on the back burner. And with those games, you can't really put them on the back burner because then you lose all the techniques you learned and all the experience you gained from going through that game. Because jumping back into it, let's be honest, Dark Souls is kind of a bitch when you're trying to play at a higher level because you screw up once to just a normal enemy and you're done. You're done, son. You're done. Sorry, I didn't mean to yell. So the final article actually was released today at GameSpot saying the Gears of War 4 achievements and gear packs are detailed. So, I don't know, maybe I'll go through the achievements. I don't care about the booster packs, so if you do, go check out GameSpot. So I'm going to go through some spoiler-free achievements list. If you want spoilers, go to the article on GameSpot. It gives you a rundown. So you have the generic general gameplay, performing 25 active reloads, get 3 drop shot headshots, kill 10 enemies with a combat knife. Oh, there's a combat knife after yanking or kicking. That's interesting. Kill 3 enemies with a single buzz kill shot. Knife whomp, there it is. Knife execute an enemy that was yanked over cover by another player. I live, I die, I live again. Rescue someone from inside a snatcher. Whatever that is. Stop hitting yourself. Kill a guardian with a guardian weapon. And then there's campaign, getting collectibles, versus, so online horde mode, progressing. Actually, there is no spoiler ones, fun fact. I just went down to the article because I didn't go far enough down because I didn't want to accidentally spoil something for me. But that leads me to the topic that I've actually forgot. For some reason, I forgot that Gears of War 4 is coming out October 4th, I believe. I believe it's coming out October 4th. Don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. Is it stated in this article? If not, I'll search it up right now as I talk. But I'm really excited for Gears of War 4. It should be... It feels like it's getting back to its roots. I'm sorry if you hear me typing. I feel like it's getting back to its roots of Gears 1 that I loved. I remember playing Gears Ultimate Edition. And I remember... Oh, it actually comes out a week later, October 11th. So I'm really excited for that game. Unfortunately, Mafia 3 is coming around that time too. So I gotta find time to play these 2 games with things going on in my life. Oh, God. And record a podcast? Oh, my goodness. So, yeah, Mafia 3 comes out that Friday before, the 7th. That's right. It's coming out Friday randomly. So, I'm excited for Mafia 3 because it looks really good. But back to Gears of War 4. For some reason, I forgot about that it was coming out this year. And then I remembered. I'm like, oh, I'm excited. Because it looks like it's going back to its roots of the Gears 1 where it had a creepy horror vibe to it. That's why I love the story from Gears 1. It kind of felt suspenseful. It was scary. It was like you felt nervous every time you're doing something. Every time something popped up, you heard the sound of the locust. As then the locust popped up out of the ground. You had to close the holes. You gotta get those holes real good. Gotta get to them. I don't know. I remember, and then online, the combat, Gears 1, I just loved playing that so much. The shotgun was ridiculous, though. I was a boss at Gears 1 back in the day when I had reflexes when I was a young child. Now I'm soon to be 23 tomorrow, which is insane, on the Saturday. So, I remember playing that, and I love it. So, I love Gears 1. I remember playing the Ultimate Edition that came out. Enjoyed the shit out of that, too. It brought me back. So, I'm excited for Gears 4. Maybe I should check it out because it's a big game for Xbox One, and maybe I'll do a review if I have time, or if I play it enough in time, because I don't want to do a review, 2 months later after the game has fallen out of people playing it. Who knows, maybe it'll become a huge game on the esports circuit, which, that reminds me, I need to make mention that we're going to do that next week, talk about it. I think I already did, but I need to make mention to myself in my notes so I don't forget. Alright, well, that's all I have for this week. If you stuck with me this long, I'm surprised I lasted this long. I'm surprised my voice didn't give out. But thank you all for listening. I'm sorry it was just me. I don't know if I did that well. I don't know if it was pretty poor. But I thank you all for listening. If you're a new listener, please subscribe. Me and Gary would really love that. All you listeners that are still listening to us, we sincerely appreciate it. We love it. We really want you guys to interact with us. Please tweet at us, Two Jersey Kids. Don't be afraid. We will respond to you. We are not intimidating by any means. We are the least intimidating people. Maybe we should have released episodes about ourselves so you know how either nerdy or goofy we are, or we still are. We definitely were as kids, and I am for sure a ridiculous person. But please, tweet at us, follow us on Twitter at Two Jersey Kids. Subscribe to the podcast if you're a new listener. Keep listening if you're your continual listener. We really love having you. We really want feedback. We really want to answer your questions, give you as much information as we possibly can, because we're not well versed in the industry per se. We just look on the outside in, unfortunately. Maybe one day we'll get there. One day. If not, who cares? Because I seriously enjoy doing this. I enjoy talking with Gary about this stuff. And so, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for listening. Have a great day and have a great weekend. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Gary and Adam have left the building.